I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Atar.
How is Mama Drama trauma different from other traumas? Trauma is a soul disassociation caused by an extreme experience of abandonment and/or abuse. The resulting trauma is perceived as an ever-present pain body triggered by external stimuli such as a memory, a person, or situation. As these activating factors are unavoidable, traumatized individuals self-medicate through addictions to chemical and mind-altering substances in an attempt to silence the stimuli and avoid the pain. MDT is different from other traumatic disorders because it is the mother of all trauma. For more information about Mama Drama Trauma, visit mamadramatrauma.info.
Hello, Taurus, Gemini, Moon people. Welcome to your March new moon reading. This new moon is in Pisces, Aries. It's Pisces, Aries cusp. This cusp is telling us that there is some higher knowledge that is being supported in terms of yang action. So there's some higher knowledge that you emotionally are working through your body mind. That Western astrology in Pisces, Aries, that emotional astrology in which the ego is transmitting its placement, its energetic placement to the soul. And the soul astrology, your sidereal, which is in Taurus. So the sidereal soul astrology is that intuitive, that great mother energy that has to do with that knowing what you know, that still small voice, isn't it? It is that voice of the Holy Spirit. It is the life of lives, of lifetimes, of the energy that activates our very being. And so for some of you, you may also have Gemini as your sidereal sign. And so you want to check the links below to make sure if you are Gemini moon sign 26 degrees to 30 degrees, well then you very likely could be a first, second, third, or fourth degree Gemini and sidereal as well. So you want to double check that. There's a 24-degree difference. Otherwise, see which video resonates most with you. So the Taurus video may resonate more with some of you. Okay, now what we want to do is get our spread going. See what Great Mother has to say to you about this new moon season. What is it that she's speaking into your life, Taurus, Gemini, Moon people, as you develop your game plan for this new moon? You know, we have game plans. That's why we acknowledge new and full moons, don't we? Because they really are energetic opportunities for us to resonate with the supportive energies around us and within us. We are all made of star stuff, if you haven't heard, except for helium and hydrogen. Okay, those are elements indigenous to the earth plane which allow us to crystallize into physical form. Okay, and so all of this Jupiter, Pisces, Aries, Gemini, celestial energy is within us. And so some of us have higher concentrations of it than others based on when we were born. That natal chart is a snapshot of our energetic spiritual selves when we were born and what moon, where the moon was, what was happening. So in your sidereal now, this new moon is in Aquarius, Taurus, Gemini moon people, in the nakshatra of Pura Adrabad. So what Great Mother is saying through this energy is that it's being amplified by Jupiter. Jupiter rules Pura Adrabad. In the sidereal, the moon phases last, as they do in the Western, 2.5 days. but they are given an energy, not just the sign that it's in, but they're given an energy called a nakshatra that describes and gives a signature for that energy. And within that, it's broken down into 4 areas, 4 further areas called padas, which is why not every person with the same moon sign has the same intuitive capabilities, feels the same about certain things. We all have very unique aspects, which is why I encourage a personal moon sign reading if you want a more precise reading about this ego soul communication that goes on in this place of these cycles, this lunar energy. And so let's talk about this. What Great Mother is saying to you is that right now the energies that are really supporting you to express this higher knowing moving forward has a soul signature of Aquarius and Peter Ajabad, which is all about versatility and intelligence. And this has to do with being versatile about how you have perhaps seen yourself in the past, particularly as it relates to qualities that you may not be proud of, experiences, attitudes, or behaviors that you would rather others not know, for example, and that you are experiencing a growth spurt in this area as it relates to some achievements at work, some recognition perhaps at work, some goals that you want to fulfill, and maybe kind of feeling that you're not worthy, or that you haven't earned it somehow, or kind of nitpicking, with yourself. And if that's not the case, there may be an issue as it relates to, you just telling yourself the truth about really what your career goals are, really what it is that you want to achieve. Maybe you've been on a path and you've just kind of clogged your way through. Sometimes we do that. We're on a path and we're like, well, I'm about to be manager anyway, so I might as well go for this. And you really want to do something else, Taurus Gemini moon people, but it's what they call unspoken prayers. We have unspoken prayers sometimes. But what she's saying is that she wants you to know what supportive energies are available to you so that you can focus on those and resonate with these energies that she's coming through with this reading to share with you, so you can generate what you need in your life this new moon season. Now, it's right before the spring equinox, and so you're coming out of a situation where you've had to tell yourself the truth about something anyway. You've had to, Taurus Gemini people, really come to grips with a journey that you've been through, and you are telling yourself that, hey, this is what happened, this is how I feel about it, these are the people that were involved, and whether the other people are agreeing with your assessment of the situation or your reflections on the situation, it doesn't matter. You are really heart aligned with this. And the heart chakra, this is the heart chakra balsamic moon card, is ego soul alignment. You are telling yourself the truth about your past leading up to this point that is 10th house energy with this Aquarius Pisces moon. It's really telling you that there are some things having to do with your gifts, talents, and abilities, and the journey that you've had to get to this place of perhaps some recognition that either, again, you're telling yourself the truth about, and you're not quite sure whether or not you deserve it, or you need to tell yourself the truth about, really where it is you want to be at this time and space in your life. Because you feel like there's some judgment coming at you. And remember, all judgment starts with self-judgment. And so you feel like there's something that you've done wrong, or something wrong with you. But in your heart of hearts, you know that there isn't. That's the thing. It's just that this is kind of what you're coming out of. This is the recent past. And so you're coming out of, and you have 3 major cards here. The Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck is based on the 49 Sins of the Wizard of Oz and the acronym ASPIRE. We aspire to live in loving detachment, which is what Dorothy learned to do in her journey. She's the poster child of Mama Drama Trauma, which is the field that I specialize in as an inner work life coach and supporting people to live in loving detachment. And you have these in the recent past, Taurus, Gemini, Moon people, the cards that spell aspire, which are the major cards, balsamic moon cards with the chakras. And so in order, actually, you have I, integrity. That's where we know of the recent past there's been some truth, some reflection on the truth. Balsamic moon, heart chakra, ego soul alignment. And this is when she is greeted when she returns home by the side of her bed with the farm hands and everyone. And this is self-inquiry. This is all about self-condemnation, self-judgment, when you have to go into that inner space and ask yourself, is it true? Is it true that I'm not worthy of these rewards? Is it true that I'm in a place in my career that I want to be, how I want to be allocating my resources? Is it true? Is that really the source of condemnation? Getting down to the bottom of it, because as we see here, Hickory is asking Dorothy, do you remember me? And he's not asking her, do you remember me, the farmhand here at the farm, but do you remember me as Scarecrow? So getting a little deeper into really who the people are, who the players are in your life right now, Taurus, Gemini people, is going to really assist you in getting some soul understanding, because what you're doing is you're avoiding processing all of this. It's coming to you. The information is coming to you. The truth is coming to you. You're feeling kind of judged and you're kind of judging yourself, but you're not processing it. And what Great Mother's coming through, and she's saying with the P card in Aspire, is that, you know, every mother has this thing where sometimes we say things that are really true for us and that are very meaningful for us, but it's kind of like, yeah, okay, what do you want for dinner? And that's what happened to Dorothy when she came home. She was telling Aunt Em about her journey, and Aunt Em was like, yeah, you just had a bad dream, you hit your head. And so maybe that's why you don't want to process it, Taurus, Gemini people, is because you know that you're not going to be heard. But presently, there's no doubt that you know what you know. Again, that heart chakra and the new moon. So we're here with new moon energy, which is emphasizing that at this time, you do know where you're going. You do know what the truth is. This is when Dorothy begins her journey, new moon, and meets the Scarecrow. She begins the yellow brick road and asks him which way to go at the fork in the road. And he says, anyway, we'll get you there. That's ego soul alignment. That's the energy of ego soul alignment. It allows us to open ourselves up to possibilities. We cut ourselves off a lot of times from potentialities because of fear, because of self-judgment, because, you know, we're not processing the reality that we already have within our very being, and we get these energetic blockages in our chakras. And it's not necessary. If this is your first time listening to a Great Mother Speaks reading, well, these readings are, of course, designed for my clients and for people who love people with Mama Drama Trauma or who work with people with Mama Drama Trauma. And we work with 3 principles here. It's very important to understand that you are a dearly loved child of the Great Mother, Father, God. Therefore, you're never judged or condemned or left alone. We always have the support and guidance that we need, even if it comes in the form of a talking scarecrow. So getting deeper into, you know, the wisdom, that's what the new moon represents. You have another new moon card, that dark night where we cannot see physically. Great Father's solar energy is blocked out by Great Mother. Okay, Great Mother and Great Father God are kind of getting it on during the new moon, and we can't see. You know, the kids can't see. So, but you can. You have the third eye, new moon card, Taurus, Gemini moon people. You can. You're seeing beyond the illusion. Oz represents Great Father, and what did Toto do? He pulled the curtain on Oz, revealing that he was just a man. So whatever this thing is that you are blocking in terms of not processing the truth that you know. And the truth may be you're ready to blow that pop stand, that job. 10th house energy is that Aries energy, that career, for you, that Aries energy is 11th house energy. And you are ready to blow that pop stand. You're ready to get out of there. And, that's on a soul level, because it's from the Taurus, that 11th house. In the Western, emotionally, with Aries, we're dealing with 11th house energy as well. And so you're ready to blow that group of friends, maybe causes that used to be important to you. And maybe because you want to do that, you might be kind of saying, that's not right. I shouldn't do that. They've helped me get this far. And, I'm not worthy of going to do what I want to do. What should I do? And they are part of your soul group, especially if you've been with them for a long time, especially if you've achieved pivotal things in your life. And they know, just like Scarecrow, here as Hickory in this card, they can see you from a soul perspective, and they'll be okay. Sometimes we want to take care of people more than we need to, and actually what we are needing is a rest. Actually what we're needing is to recuperate. Actually what we're needing is to recreate. So allow yourself, that is what Great Mother is saying, Taurus, Gemini people. Own your beauty. Own your beauty. That 11th house energy is an energy that others will recognize your beauty. And I think that you are dancing with that. I think that you are owning your beauty in so many ways, especially at work. You have Jupiter in your 6th house right now. So that is work. That's your daily life. That is, your work-life balance, your health, and so this waning gibbous moon in your 5th chakra is sharing and thanksgiving and abundance overpouring. And so for many of you, this 5th house energy is about expressing that truth. It is about really sharing, what that inner wisdom is that you have, that ego soul alignment. And, seeing beyond the illusion. Some of you are already there, and for those of you who may be dancing with this in a way that you're not fully embracing it due to some issues perhaps of self-judgment, Great Mother is saying, you may, as a result, be behaving in wild ways, because the energy has to come out, right? When we're not doing what we want to do in life, it comes out some way. Sometimes, if we're not getting what we want, we will find it in other ways. I've worked with individuals that have jobs that are very rewarding in terms of the money, but because it's not what they want to do and they are wanting to transition into something else, but maybe having some challenges doing that with that worthiness issue, they reward themselves by overspending in certain areas. That allocation of resources again. So this is the scene in The Wizard of Oz when Dorothy and the three enter the dark forest on their way to the witch's castle, and that sign says, "I wouldn't go any further if I were you." This is another new moon card. You have so much supportive energy for you, Taurus, Gemini people, this new moon. This is incredible. The resonance that you have and the ability to focus on these energies to generate what you need this lunar season, this 5th house energy again, this expression of your beauty, this expression of who you are. So some of you again who are actually owning your beauty at this time are doing that in wild and fun and amazing ways. If you're having challenges owning your beauty and taking the broom back, this is the scene when Dorothy actually takes the broom back, returns it to Oz and says, here's the broom. And the broom symbolizes power, the phallic symbol. That's why they had to get it. No one can get our power for us. We have to get it. That's why Great Father tells us to take our power. And she was owning her power. And so those of you who may not be doing it, there may be some of that, misallocation of time and resources because you're not really where you want to be. But for those of you who are, you see this sign telling you to turn away from expressing your beauty, and you're saying, what? That's not happening. I am totally expressing fully who I am. Thank you very much. Which is what Dorothy and the Three did by going through the dark forest, even though it was really scary. They had a lot of things come up against them in that dark forest. And sometimes that can represent the dark night of the soul. Some of you may be experiencing a dark night of the soul at this time, which is why you don't have the wherewithal to really process and address some of these things that are going on, Taurus, Gemini moon people. Some of you may actually be in a phase of balsamic moon, new moon energy, which is that stillness, that observation, that rest period where you're just kind of taking it all in, that kind of 12th house energy of isolation and alienation necessary to integrate the previous astrological wheel cycle. And again, that would be a personal situation. Some of you have gone through an entire astrological wheel cycle in some area of your life. If your relationships, for example, are in your 7th house and now you're in the 12th house with that, and that 12th house is aligned with Scorpio in the Western, well, then that's a kind of a rebirth being amplified, and so everybody is different. This is general, but you see what I'm saying, because this new moon is a hidden influence. It's a hidden influence, and wouldn't that be appropriate in that position of hidden influence towards Gemini moon people, that it's something that you're not really aware of that you're doing, if you're misallocating or if you are kind of pushing past it because you're ready. You're ready for the success in your career. You're ready for the achievement. You've earned it. Or vice versa, you haven't, and so you are misallocating. So let's see what Great Mother's saying, because we've gotten here to the center of your reading, and this is really where the energy is able to generate the greatest return, I've noticed, and when you're able to actually focus in a way that your personal situation can go to the next level. For you, Inanna, embracing the shadow and this general reading as a third eye crescent moon card is saying that regardless of how you may be judging yourself, focus on that judgment, inquire about it, ask yourself, is it true that I'm not good enough? Is it true that I am not working hard enough to receive this success and whatever? Is it true that this cycle that I'm coming to an end of is also the end of my life or end of my ability to be in a loving relationship? Is it true? So that you can embrace your shadow. You might want to look up here on YouTube the work of Byron Katie, BYRONKATIE, to do the work around that issue for you, because the center of your reading is embracing the shadow. This is when Dorothy says to Oz, after discovering that he's just a man, "You're a very bad man." To which he responds, "I'm not a bad man, I'm just a very bad wizard." So Great Father has already done his self-inquiry work. Even though that sun might shine pretty brightly and be pretty hard sometimes, and you have to be pretty resilient to rise up in it and tell the truth in it, it's a beautiful thing, because what it allows us to do is to plant seed and to reflect. And so the seed going forward for you, Gemini moon people, and Taurus and the sidereal especially, this is a third eye card. So in terms of, what you on a soul level are wanting to fulfill this lifetime is self-acceptance. It is that lesson of self-love and spiritual independence. How you do your work. He was doing his work. And as great father, his work is, or as any great father in the flesh, is to teach us how to stand on our own. And that's exactly what he did. He made them get their own power back. He wasn't going to give them their power because he knew through them having their power, they would have everything else that they needed. So the energy blockages that I'm seeing here for you have to do with this owning of beauty. And if you are owning the beauty, then that means that you have done this. That means that you have said, hey, I'm not a bad employee. I just may be a bad counselor. I just may not be the one that wants to listen to all your stuff all day long. That doesn't make me a bad employee just because you are my coworker. That makes me a great employee. We have to tell ourselves the truth towards Gemini people and listen to what Great Mother's saying to you this new moon. You have so many new moon cards. Wow. That inner wisdom is popping. You know what the deal is. You see beyond all that. Go ahead and activate that, because I see right next to your center card is the Law of Divine Father, which is the double yang card. All Great Father cards are law cards. This is the Law of Great Father. And this is being clear about what you're doing. Gut chakra card. Double yang. Third quarter moon, releasing, letting go. Let go of all that junk so you could do what you need to do in terms of fulfilling your soul's wishes at this time. What you're doing at work, what you're doing in the public has to do with what your soul is wanting to fulfill in your life at this time. We know this because it's wanting you to let go of anything that's preventing you from being reborn through the opportunities that are being presented to you at this time. It may make you feel a little shaky. It may make you feel a little, like what the heck is going on. But as you process this, and we have the R of rebirth here, you have almost the entire, you do have the entire suit in your reading. I didn't see the A over there. Oh, wow. You are working through some very powerful energy at this time. I don't think I've ever seen that. You have the entire acronym of Aspire in your reading towards Gemini people. This is the R for rebirth, that balsamic moon, rest, recuperation. All of the Aspire cards are balsamic moon, but they're different chakras. This is the throat chakra. We've talked about that expression, that divine expression. Okay, so now this has to do with your soul, what it's wanting to do this lifetime. Don't let anything block that rebirth, that regeneration for you. Okay, she is pointing out to everybody what she's been through, and it's important to speak through your experiences to make them real. Sometimes we can talk to ourselves and then talk ourselves out of what we've just experienced. Reach out to someone that you know that you can trust, that's a good listener, so that your body can process it. It needs to go through your gut chakra into your body so it resonates with your body. It resonates through that ego soul alignment, and it becomes real to your being. That's why here when we talk about the ego, we're not talking about a sick psychological entity. We're talking about a divine entity that is the avatar that the soul needs to have a sensory experience. It is simply, in Great Mother speak, your biography. If you were to write, for example, the book of your life, how Great Mother would define your ego would be that biography that you would write in the inlay of the book. Just who you are, where you came from, what your expertise is, why you do what you do, what inspires you. That's what we mean by ego here. And that's what the Western astrology specializes in. It specializes in this unique lifetime. But as we know, the soul has many skulls in the ground. Okay, this is one. The Western astrology zeroes in on that one and how that ego story is feeling and experiencing. And the sidereal is able to put a spotlight on that in terms of what the soul is downloading to that lifetime as its purpose, as its raison d'etre, the reason for being, etc. Because the advice that Great Mother is offering is to continue receiving that intuitive download. Continue trusting what you are getting. This is the twister dream. When Dorothy returns back to the farm after being guilted into doing so by Professor Marvel and Great Mother towards her attempt to do so, because her journey is not over. Your journey is not over, Taurus, Gemini, Moon people. You will continue on your journey in new, unexpected, and exciting ways. This is the primordial mother card. The primordial void black womb of the cosmos. This waning gibbous moon card, this abundance of your inner knowing, your wisdom, for you to fulfill your desires. And so that is that wild woman energy from the new moon will birth this in this lunar cycle. As you move past those trepidations about what you know, and revealing those illusions. That's what the diversion of her path was all about. Dorothy still needed to diffuse some illusions she had about herself and her life, didn't she? Before she could return home and be able to fully acknowledge the A in Aspire, that all is one and one is all. She was not separated. She was not neglected in the sense that she thought that she was, but in the sense that she needed to own her own power to live her life and to root herself in that power. So we see that Great Mother is saying to Taurus, Gemini people that by doing this, by the time the third quarter moon comes, you'll be able to act on what you know by embodying that personal power. That personal power, Great Mother endowing you with your birthright, those red slippers of health, happiness, and wholeness. And you knowing this in your gut, but keeping that gut aligned with that third eye wisdom. Keeping it aligned with that wisdom, okay? Because these two, the gut and the third eye, that antenna, they are connected, okay? That's what that antenna is from the gut chakra. That self-esteem, that sense of self-confidence, that instinctual, visceral response to truth. Keeping that aligned with the third eye will always download to you the higher truth. That Great Mother, you have a birthright to happiness, health, and wholeness. Don't let the fear of the witch, of someone trying to take that away, overcome you. The darkness of that, which is all love anyway. But you will always feel that if you keep it aligned. You will be activating that personal power by working with these resonant energies that Great Mother is bringing up for you to recognize as potential powers to generate what it is your soul really needs at this particular time, because you'll be able to acknowledge whatever abandonment or abuse issues that you may be experiencing within yourself in terms of judgment or condemnation, or from others, in a way that says, hey, this is information. Is it true information? Okay, if it's not, well then I need to adjust my thinking so that I can remain in a space of embracing my shadow. See, judgment keeps us from embracing our shadows because it's wrong, right? We don't embrace anything that's wrong. Mama drama trauma is wrong, right? We don't want to talk about that, do we? Well, yes, we do, because it's a very important soul contract. We're divine. We're divine beings. We're not victims. We're not weaklings. You know, we're here on serious business. But at the same time, we're here to follow our own yellow brick road. It's a journey, isn't it? And it's a journey that for you, Great Mother, wants to be filled with self-compassion. That's why we know that judgment and condemnation is something you might want to check out Byron Katie about. Because this is the Heart Chakra Crescent Moon card when Dorothy meets the Tin Man and the Lion after she's met the Scarecrow along the yellow brick road. These forces within us, these energetic forces within us, again, this resonance. Why did she not turn them away? Not just because she was a good little girl who was taught to be polite from Kansas and was nice to the crazy looking people, but because she recognized Scarecrow needing a brain was a part of her. She knew that Tin Man needing a heart was a part of her, needing to have compassion for herself and for others. She knew that she needed courage to get her power back, to return home. That heart, ego, soul alignment for you, Great Mother is saying, during this Aquarius sidereal, Pisces, Aries, Western cusp, this emotional time for you is going to be supported by this Aquarian energy that is in your 10th house, that is your innovative soul expression, wanting you to have compassion for that. It may look a little crazy to other people, but you recognize it, Taurus, Gemini, Moon people, for exactly what it is. And that is your success. That is your achievement. That is what your soul feels is your life purpose. It incarnated as you to evolve in ways and matters that deal with principalities of power within itself, to overcome and to transform. Yeah, fame is nice. Recognition from others is nice, and in many ways it confirms what we're doing and the value of what we're doing, but don't get it twisted. It never validates it. It never validates it. Your final outcome is angelic support, loving guidance, helping you to live in loving detachment from the opinions, the judgments, outcomes, external and exterior to your inner journey, which is the focus for you this new moon. The angels are the double yin, double yang card that help with our ego soul alignment to detach from things that we cannot control, that we cannot cure, and that we did not cause. And for those of you who have been in Al-Anon and AA, you know all about that, as well as detachment. We just add the loving to it, so that we can embrace our divinity all along the way, which is what the angels are helping you to do at this time. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, and liking. But above all and most of all, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.